Hey, John Tabler here. I'm actually going to show you how to make a really quick recipe, something that's actually, I really like it. It's really good. And you know, when you're eating probiotic foods like sauerkraut and supplementing your diet, this is a really great dish that you can make really quickly that's extremely good. And so I'm going to show you all the ingredients that are in it. You got tomatoes, you got ginger, garlic, onion. I'm not sure. If I have enough room, I'm gonna put cabbage. And then I got broccoli, celery, cabbage. You can throw whatever you want in, but the key to making it is the base that you make with the tomatoes, onion. You really only need tomatoes and onion, but if you want to put some garlic and some ginger in, it really makes it great. And so what I'm gonna do, it's really simple, is cut the tomatoes up. You know, I buy organic tomatoes if possible. Just wash the outsides really well. I've already washed them. And where I can, I buy organic things because they spray the crops with pesticides and things like that can contaminate them. But you know, you can wash most of it off, especially on the vegetables that it doesn't sink in or it can't absorb. You know, on a broccoli crown like that, there's a ton of surface area with all the little ends that are on there. So if you can, you want to buy organic with that, but just wash it really well. Now what we're going to do is just cut everything up. The tomatoes and the onion are the prime part that is going to make it extremely good. Now, I take a whole onion. It's going to take a really big pan for a whole onion and four tomatoes, five tomatoes. So I'm actually using a Lodge cast iron skillet. Of course, the lid for one of those things is actually as much as the skillet. I don't use a lid a ton with that, so I actually didn't buy the lid. So every time I cook, I need a lid. I just use my pizza pan, which actually fits perfectly and works perfectly. I don't even know that I'm going to actually buy a lid. But an entire onion, I'm going to cut. Don't get your fingers. You don't want to get your fingers. Now I know this is the part that you know essentially what's going on, so might zip ahead, but I'm cutting the ginger, onion, tomato, and some garlic. Want to dice up the ginger really fine as you can. Tomato, it doesn't really matter. Onion doesn't matter greatly because what we're going to do is cook it. It's going to melt it down basically into a sauce that's sweet and wonderful. Then we're going to put our vegetables in on top, and that sauce is going to... Uh-oh, onion's coming. I love that. Think of something you can cry about. Start crying. That's pretty good. Usually the best thing to do, I'm doing it like this and cutting everything, but the best thing to do is cut those onions, throw it in the pan, get it away from you. We'll see if I drip down onto my shirt time I'm done. You'll be able to tell pretty easily. So I just wanted to show you this is really a quick thing to do. And I have not cut myself or missed yet. And that's that. Now that we're all crying together, all right. So now I'm going to take all of that and put it into the pan. And that is the first part. I'm going to turn it on. Really don't want to turn it on high. I'm heating the pan up as quickly as possible there. Take a spatula. Now you want to put it about medium, because that's going to simmer for a little while. You're going to come back. You don't want to burn the bottom of it. So don't burn the bottom of it. Those tomatoes turn to a paste and they turn sweet. And anytime there's a sugar like that or a sweet paste that comes out of it, if you cook it too high, it will burn or it'll turn black and it'll make the taste go off. So really just cut that up, put that in there. You're going to simmer it for however long it takes. It's going to take 10 minutes probably. Then after that, we're just going to cut some celery and some broccoli. And actually, when I cut that, I leave them pretty good sized. I've already washed these. So you can just leave it like that. And then those are going to get thrown in there. And then a little bit of cabbage and a little bit of celery, and we're done. We also want to take some olive oil and put over the top. To cook that. So we'll come back. What we'll do is we'll let that cook until it starts to set up into a kind of a sauce and gets reduced a little bit. And then I'll take the vegetables and I'll put it on top of it. So you can hear that simmering in there. And let me tell you, that smell is good. And of course, with this big a pan on a stove like this, it's not fire. There's not going to be as much heat around the edges, but actually I like that because you can control various places in the pan that are hotter and not as hot. We'll let this cook a little bit. Then we're going to add in the other vegetables. Slightly hotter than medium. Now in the meantime, while that's simmering, I'm going to get my vegetables ready. So you just want to, again, wash your vegetables, and then you can see I'm just cutting them in about half an inch, it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to put about a third of a head of cabbage in there. This is going to be quite a bit as it is, so. But this is all ready. So now when the wonderful aromatic sauce is ready, I'll just put all this in. That's done. So when the sauce gets boiled down, what we want to do is add in all the other vegetables and just let it simmer. I'm going to let it simmer for about eight minutes or so, and you can put a little bit of water in on top of it, and that will give some moisture so that the other vegetables get cooked. But you mainly want to give a head start to the tomatoes and the tomatoes and onions, and then put the other in on top. So we're about 8 more minutes now, and at that point I'd just like to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom or anything like that. And stir it up. Put some of the sauce on top. The more the tomatoes cook and the garlic and the onions, the sweeter it will get. So this has been cooking about 15 minutes. Let that water get back in there. So I open it up. Now I'm gonna boil off the rest of the liquid. Now, as much sauce as you want, you can add more tomato or less tomato. This was quite a bit of vegetables, but The garlic, onion, tomato sauce is just excellent. And like I said, you also have to taste it along the way and add salt. I would say at least 1 to 2 teaspoons. As that liquid boils off, it's going to get sweeter, and as it does, boy, it's a wonderful thing to put over rice. And or again, like I said, you can add meat to it, and you can put it, once it's done, put it into the refrigerator and just save it. It's really great cold, to be honest. So I think you're going to be really surprised how good it is and how easy it is to make. So there we are, about another 5 minutes. And if you stay close, every pan and every stove is going to have a different heat. You just don't want to smell any burning coming up from the bottom as that water gets boiled off. The more that boils off and simmers, the sweeter and the better tasting it's going to be. You want to take a little pepper and put on it. So that is just almost done. So altogether, from the initial simmer, about 25 minutes. Sometimes it's hard to say exactly because this burner is much smaller than the pan, but it works perfectly to have those differences in heat. So I'm going to actually turn it off because it is done. Actually, as it sets up, this is meant to be very soft. The broccoli will be a little harder and the cabbage will be a little bit harder. So we'll let that cool down, but you can see, let me tell you, that aroma coming up from there is so good. You just want to be careful at this stage when you don't have that extra liquid in there that you don't let it burn, because the sugar will caramelize and it will give that taste to your entire dish. You don't want that. So as you can see, that is done now, and I'm going to dish some up on the plate so you can have a look. When you're looking for something healthy, I guarantee you there's not going to be anything healthier, and it is so good. And in the next video, what I'm going to do is show the sauerkraut, which I would have a sauerkraut or some kind of a probiotic fermented product with the dish. But this sauerkraut has been in here about 2 months, and you can actually see that it's still green. Full spectrum probiotic. When you put it in that, it helps your body to assimilate all the nutrients that are in your dish already, and that's proven by studies. So in the next video, I'm going to open that up. But for right now, what we do with this, take a little olive oil and put on it. And again, like I said, you can put that over rice or add meat to it. But let me tell you something, just like this. It's one of my favorite dishes. You'll love it. Give it a shot. Try it and let me know in the comments down below how it went for you. I think you're going to be really surprised how good it is. And hit the subscribe button and the like button down below. So I'll see you on the next video.